Welcome to the Alex Salmond Show, where we move from the parliamentary fireworks in the House of Commons to those who have no house at all. The homeless, like the poor, seem to be ever with us, and nowhere is the issue more apparent than on the streets of London. London ranks 6th in the league table of the richest cities in the world. Unfortunately, it also ranks as one of the leading cities for rough sleeping. This most cosmopolitan of world cities is still struggling with a homeless issue which is rapidly growing, not gradually diminishing. This week, we move from parliamentary debates to people on the ground who are taking practical action to meet the challenge. There are a range of charities working in the capital city. Many are well known and national, such as The Big Issue, Crisis and Shelter. However, today, Alex visits one of the local initiatives. The Brixton Soup Kitchen is on the front line of helping homeless and fighting against the poverty which blights London's plenty.
We've done a lot of research doing the Soup Kitchen to realise that a lot of our service users suffer from mental health. So even just seeing the colours on the walls, different services that we provide. So we've got a back garden and what we do, growing therapy, where they grow their own produces. You know, we've got massage Mondays, you know, and it's just services that is just about kind of helping the situations that they're already in, you know. I've never really understood when they said, give a homeless person a hearty meal. You give a homeless person a hearty meal, it's going to come in tomorrow, still waiting for another hearty meal. So the whole purpose of the Soup Kitchen is to, we use food as the facilitator for them to come in, but we've got many services what's in the nicest way possible for them to not return.
Now, in a properly ordered society, it would be homelessness, not Brexit, which would be dominating the parliamentary bandwidth. However, MPs have turned their attention to the issue. This is what the various parties have had to say.
An estimated 120 homeless people in the North East have died since 2013, a staggering increase of 71%. These 120 lives mattered and they deserve some recognition. The government have said that local authorities need to fully investigate the circumstances of these deaths, yet they have failed to provide any funding or any support at all to ensure these investigations actually happen. Is that because people dying on our streets isn't really a priority for this government?
Nobody wants to see people rough sleeping on our streets. Will my right honourable friend join with me in congratulating the huge teamwork that's going on in Cornwall across the public sector, the private sector, which has seen a reduction in rough sleepers by over 40% in the last year.
Every death of someone who is homeless is one too many, and we have a moral duty to act. We're committed to ending rough sleeping for good, with the aim of halving it by 2022, and our strategy commits to £100 million to tackle rough sleeping and is funding over 1,750 bed spaces and 500 new staff through the Rough Sleeping Initiative.
It's no coincidence that as universal credits hit Ealing in the last year, food bank use has doubled, Ealing Church's winter night shelter and Ealing Soup Kitchen report unprecedented demand, 6 user deaths of the Soup Kitchen in the last year. Are they not ashamed that Christian charity is having to mop up the gaps of its policy? And when will they put into place the NAO's recommendation to look at hardship as well as spouting statistics at us?
Well, Mr. Speaker, what I would say is that, of course, there are a range of reasons why people make use of food banks. But what is important is that the DWP makes sure that we get funds to claimants in a timely manner. The Secretary of State has already talked about the 100% advances, the 2-week housing benefit run-on, and, of course, there'll be additional run-ons coming on in 2020.
Now, despite the fine words, the statistics show the enduring nature of the issue and the difficulty that governments of all persuasions have had in coming to terms with it. London Mayor Sadiq Khan says the rise in rough sleeping across the country and in London is a national disgrace. And at City Hall, we have doubled our rough sleeping budget and the size of our outreach team, helping record numbers of rough sleepers. But the figures show more and more people continue to be forced onto the streets by the government's policies, from welfare cuts to a lack of investment in social housing. But is the London Mayor powerless in the face of these trends? And in the absence of public initiative, what practically can be done? The Brixton Soup Kitchen has had support in the past from the late Tessa Jowell.
For all that Tessa achieved on the national and international stage, she never forgot the local, and it was as a local campaigner and politician that I first knew Tessa when I was leader of the opposition and then leader of the council in Lambeth, where she was one of our fantastic local MPs. And whether it was the young people, Solomon and his friends, who set up the Brixton soup kitchen, Tessa's love was with people and the communities that they were part of. There's a little bit of Tessa in thousands of us around South London and around the country. And we've been inspired by her vision and her passion and her love and her empathy, and we will take that legacy forward.
Today, Alex visits the front line to talk to those taking practical action. We join him with the people behind the Brixton Soup Kitchen.
Now, I'm now joined in the hotbed of Brixton Soup Kitchen by Micah, the manager here, and Jennifer, one of the helpers. Welcome to the Alex Salmond Show.
Thank you for coming down.
Now, this is where all the action is. I mean, obviously the meals are finished for the day.
Yeah.
I mean, what happens? I want to know what happens if, you run out of stuff or what?
As you can see, the building is it's two houses put together. So this is where the magic happens, but it's not the bedroom. This is the kitchen. So this is, for us, one of the main things is food is the main facilitator that we use to bring people together. And having this industrial kitchen is a great help because it helps us churn out so much meals. And then when we get large donations, we can store them, we can stock them. So it's really good that we have this kitchen and that we can have people come in, come and help out, and all people in the community to use the kitchen as well when they need to do certain other events and things like that.
And what would be the #1 popular meal with your clients?
#1 popular meal would probably be me jerk chicken.
All right.
Yeah, it's really good.
Is that served on a specific day, or is it on the menu all the time?
At random, we might do it once or twice a month. It depends, because if we've got it going all the time, it would be crazy.
It would stowed out.
Yeah.
Jennifer, you help with this, but you also help with some of the other services from using your own background and employment.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Basically, I was an advisor at the job centre, and also I work for the church. While I was at the job centre, obviously people have left there, and then unfortunately things didn't work out for them. They do end up coming to the soup kitchen and vice versa.
Now, obviously, Jennifer has work at church as well, but this is not a religious place. This is for all people, is that right?
Yeah, our ethos is kind of treating everyone equally and not having any religious views or anything. So for us, the only thing we ask for people to come in the building is to sign in, treat everyone equally, and no drugs and alcohol paraphernalia. And it's just a nice, easygoing environment where people can just be relaxed and, they don't have to pray before they get their food or anything.
So there's an underlying ethos to respect people.
Yes.
But not necessarily a religious one.
Yeah, not necessarily a religious one.
So, of all the things you've experienced here, what's the most surprising thing that people coming into Brixton Soup Kitchen, say for the first time, what might surprise them about what they're able to do here?
There's a variety of things that you can do here. We were doing some drawings and sketches, live drawings, and also they've been playing games, which is like card games, and playing dominoes.
There's a array of different things. So, for instance, we have a gardening project as well, where people can get their green fingers on and learn about gardening, because obviously a lot of people that grow up in a certain environment, they don't have a garden. So for us, having the massive garden that we do have, it helps to bring the community in and let the children and families know about gardening, and we use a lot of those fresh produce that we grow in the kitchen here.
So it's like grow your own?
Yeah,
and then eat it. Now, if I was choosing to come sneak in for a meal one day, what would be the best day of the week to pay a visit? What would be the best menu for me?
Probably a Thursday is when we really put down a really good hearty meal on a Thursday.
Is that haggis on a Thursday, is it?
Do you know what? We haven't. Do you know what? We've cooked everything. We haven't had haggis yet, but we could have a Scottish day.
We'll have a Burns night supper or a St Andrew's Day lunch. That would be
that'd be really good. That'd be really good.
I'll send you the recipes.
Thank you.
Jennifer.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Mikey. Thank you.
you.
Now, Solomon Mohammed, co-founders of the Brixton Soup Kitchen. Welcome to the Alex Salmond Show.
Alex.
The Solomon Mohammed, this sounds like a very religious interview. but tell me first, Solomon, what was the idea behind the soup kitchen? When did you get involved? How long ago was it? And how have you built?
I literally worked at another homeless shelter in Deptford called the 999 Club. And while I was there, I was like, you know, I could do this, you know. This needs to be in Brixton. So literally, when I finished my degree, you know, I just put pen to paper and I was just like, do you know what? We need to have a soup kitchen in Brixton. Literally went around all different centres. You know, they was telling me, no, it's not going to work. And, you know, I just kind of put the pressure on and I was just like, you know, I need to run it. So I went to a couple centres and then I just said, you know, I want to run it for 1 day a week and see how it turns out, you know, and it's kind of turned out quite amazing.
And how did you get hold of the property? Did you, were you looking around for various places or did you get a benefactor? How did you get hold of this property?
There was the chief exec at the time was Derek Anderson. I mean, him was quite close. So I was working for Lambeth Youth Service for over 15 years and he was the one what gave me my first job. And literally when he knew that I was running the soup kitchen, I just said to him, you know, we need a centre. You know, you don't have to look prim and proper. It just needs to have a kitchen and a dining area where they can kind of come and sit down. And that's when he said, you know, I think I'll do some talking, try to see if I can get you guys into the Domino Club.
Now, Mohammed, you're not just a co-founder of the soup kitchen, you're now a local councillor. Does that help in getting a bit of official help to the work of the soup kitchen?
Do you know, it helps in bridging the understanding between the community and the politicians. And for me, what we found is a lot of the politicians, especially the local ones, have been looking to get involved in local community organisations, but never really knew how to. And when you have people like Solomon and people like Michael who have been doing this community work for so long, but don't understand how the council works, don't understand the processes and procedures, etc. I've just been lucky enough to be able to fill that gap and fill that void in terms of that communication.
So Solomon, thinking back to the very first day you opened, I mean, how many people crossed the door, crossed the threshold, did you burn the soup?
Literally, I think, yeah, the first day we did do soup and we didn't burn the soup, but literally we had about 40 people come in that first day. And that is when it hit me. And that's when I was like, do you know what? This service is actually really needed. You know, I've never really worked, you know, doing homelessness. I've never really worked in a charity sector before. And, you know, me just putting out flyers, seeing the impact the first day was absolutely crazy. And, you know, that's when, you know, I was like, this has to be done.
So, Mohammed, how many people would you get in an average day now?
Between 45 and 50, if I'm honest. And because we don't have a set lunch period, we don't have a set dinner, it's really rolling in, rolling out. So during that time, we get so many people coming in and out. So it is literally about 50 people.
Now, it's not just meals you're offering here. You offer a range of services. Tell us a bit about the other services you offer.
So we have a clothes bank here that the way we set up is that it's almost like a shop. So people don't feel like we're giving them rubbish or we're giving them throwaways. We want everyone, it's about confidence for us. So the clothes bank is about making people feel like they're worth something. We also have a food bank for the weekends where we're not open. We have an employability area because we had a lot of problems with people that was on benefits having to run around doing their job searches and then leaving for appointments, etc. So we try to really build a holistic community support centre for everyone in the community that's in problems or struggling so they can come together, share the resources and feel part of something bigger.
Coming up after the break, Alex continues his visit to the Brixton Soup Kitchen. Join us then. Welcome back. With politics consumed by Brexit, Alex looks at some of the issues which should be dominating the political agenda. We join him in Brixton, in the front line of the battle against poverty and homelessness.
Solomon, what do you think's the most surprising thing about the range of services and therapies you're offering? Did you start something like the Massage Monday and think, I don't know if that'll work, and then it turned into a great success? Tell us a bit about that.
So yeah, so we've done a lot of research during the soup kitchen to realise that a lot of our service users suffer from mental health. So even just seeing the colours on the walls, different services that we provide. So we've got a back garden and what we do, growing therapy, where they grow their own producers. You know, we've got massage Mondays. You know, and it's just services that is just about kind of helping the situations that they're already in. You know, I've never really understood when they said, give a homeless person a hearty meal. You give a homeless person a hearty meal, it's going to come in tomorrow, still waiting for another hearty meal. So the whole purpose of the soup kitchen is to, we use food as a facilitator for them to come in, but we've got many services what's in the nicest way possible for them to not return.
So your aim is for your clients, for your customers, you don't want them to be long-term customers, you want them to graduate to a more stable, better lifestyle for them?
Most def. And, even just doing small things like, maybe help making them, sort out the food bank, then, graduating to then giving out the food. We do a lot of training, so we do first aid training, then we do food safety training, what kind of gets them working into the kitchen. And then once we get them those type of certificates, then it allows them to, get a job. We've to date, we've got at least 18 people back into full-time education. We've got 7 people back into full-time work. And those are our most success stories, where we're actually getting people from homelessness to actually working, in accommodation.
And to some of your clients, Mohammed, whose lives have been transformed by the help they've found here and the assistance, do they come back and give you a helping hand?
100%. We've got clients here who have been with us from the beginning, and now they're volunteering with us because they want to give back. They want to give back that support they got when they needed it to someone else that needs it. So for us, it's an amazing circle for us, a cycle that shows positivity. You never want people just to leave and forget and not give back. It's about making sure when you needed help and you got it, you're able to reciprocate that help again and help someone else.
Are all your clients homeless, or do you have a variety of people?
Again, we've got clients that are homeless, we've got clients that are suffering from mental health, anxious. We've even got elderly people that come here that are lonely, that haven't got any family in the immediate vicinity. So for us, it's a whole community support centre. It's about any problems that you have, we'll look at the problems and find a way to solve it together.
And I notice a lot of the messaging in the soup kitchen is very positive, very uplifting. Is that positivity a kind of psychological thing? Is there a religious undertone? What are you trying to say to your clients with these messages?
I'm trying to put messages in their minds without them even knowing. Every time when people come in there, they're like, the feeling of just being in here is just amazing. That's what I want. The bright colors, the soft music, for us, a lot of the soup kitchens might be from churches or it might be religious, but for us, one of our main things we didn't want is for someone to come in and feel like they had to pray to eat food, or, you have to do some type of religious cult. For here, it's just a center where anyone could come in and anyone could feel comfortable. Everyone's not religious, everyone's not spiritual. However, everybody knows about bad energies and good energies. And for us, we're just trying to just spit out a lot of good energies.
So what would you say then, Mohammed, was the ethos behind the place? Is it good energies? What's the underlying impetus you've got here?
For me, it's about everyone, regardless of your background, what you've gone through, it's about being able to come somewhere where you feel valued, you feel part of something. And for us, it's about that confidence. Everyone goes through things that knock their confidence a little bit and makes them withdraw into themselves. For us, this is a place where you come out and be yourself again. You find yourself and you find some friends, and hopefully it's friends for life. Because when you're right at the bottom and you feel hopelessness and you're able to survive with the support of few people that you didn't know just a few moments before, I think that itself is priceless.
Guys, London's a great international capital city. It's full of mega-rich and oligarchs and multi-billionaires and financial sector, politicians, all folk like that. Do you ever wish you could bring them down for a tour?
All the time, I'm saying there's a lot of powerful people, and we shouldn't have to be doing a soup kitchen. We shouldn't have to be, there shouldn't be people in dire need, especially in the UK in 2019, almost 2020, and I just think that, places like Brixton, a lot of politicians might not kind of wander around here. They might think everything's all hunky-dory where they are, and, I just sometimes wish, they could kind of come down, see what's going on and support groups like Brixton Soup Kitchen. We've never had no government funding ever. we rely on donations, we rely on, you know, the public supporting us, you know, and there's so much we can do, you know, especially, you know, we're not saying Brixton Soup Kitchen is going to conquer world homelessness, but we're actually here just to put the spark in people's mind, just to show you how easy it is to support someone and to help someone, you know, and if everybody had that same mindset, what we're trying to change, you know, we wouldn't be here in the next 5 years.
And let's say politicians behind policies such as universal credit, which they would argue was introduced with the best of intentions. Would it be helpful to see some of the reality behind what happens to people if they get sectioned or sanctioned and their life is falls into total disarray?
For me, especially with examples of universal credit, we've seen people come here who have been totally destroyed by that policy. And it's sad because it's politicians that have never been on benefits that decide these policies, decide their fantastic ideas without ever talking to the people that it's affected by. Example of universal credit, we deal with so many people that come here who have under sanctions, who don't understand how to budget their money because of the stresses they're going through. 74% of our service users suffer from mental health. But what the government has done is just increase the pressure on them, almost in the hope that they're going to fail.
And yet, if you think about the genesis of universal credit, Ian Duncan Smith, a long time ago, went touring some of the deprived areas of Glasgow and elsewhere and thought that this might be a way to get people off benefits. I mean, how could something which presumably started off with noble motives end up in practice not fulfilling these objectives?
For me, it's the disconnect from the people that you're supposed to be representing. For me, a challenge to Ian Duncan Smith would have been, who did you speak to that was on benefits? Who told you it was a good idea? How many people did you go and see afterwards to see how it's affected their lives?
About the stigma of homelessness, how can we remove the shame that many people feel to arrive in that position?
I think it's less about removing the shame from the people that's going through the situations, and it's more about connecting with people when we know and we can see they're going through a tough time. A lot of the time, people that are going through a tough time will withdraw because they feel ashamed and they feel there's a perception. And for me, what we found is the biggest thing lacking from the homeless people that we work with and the people going through something is the fact they don't feel like they're worthy of having a conversation with you. They don't feel like they're allowed to or should. And for me, that's something we have to take on. We have to start bridging that gap and making the effort to make them feel okay. The situation you're going through doesn't define you. It doesn't define who you are. It's not the be-all and end-all. And for me, that's something that we have to start encouraging in people when we see them. So when you see someone sitting outside a tube station or eating food on the side of the street, why not say hello to them? Why not ask them if they like something from the shop? Just a simple hello will literally change their whole day. And for me, that's a responsibility we have to take on.
Solomon, in the holiday period, English school holidays not long finished, does that cause particular problems for families?
Most deaf, you know, because we don't understand that there's a lot of children that depends on free school meals, you know, and because we noted that is one of the main reasons why we've decided to do a thing called, so we're working with Brixton Library and the Mayor's Fund. And literally, it was just like, you know, we said, once they said, you know, about holiday hunger, we said, this is something we have to do.
And that's what you call it, holiday hunger, and your efforts to combat it. So Solomon Mohammed, what's your ambition for Brixton Soup Kitchen? Where do you want to go with this place?
You know, my main thing is to be closed down in the next 5 years. Hopefully just to, you know, that we've conquered world homelessness, you know. My main thing is about us all working together. There's millions and millions of homeless charities, but the problem is we're not working together.
And Mohammed, in the meantime, but before there's no need for a place like this, what would your ambition be?
So my ambition 2024 is to be the Mayor of London, so I can start implementing the policies that we need to go forward together.
Now, by the miracle of television, magically, an Alex Salmond quaich has appeared. Now, guys, let me tell you about the drill. This is Scots Gaelic, the quaich, for a loving cup. Now, what you do is put whiskey, other fluids if necessary, but it doesn't really work with any other alcohol. Only whiskey in the quaich, and then you pass it around all your clients, customers and friends, and all the folk are going to support you to be Mayor of London. So don't fight over it, guys. There you go.
Thank you so much.
And thanks for the
amazing. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Alex.
Mohammed, thank you.
Why is homelessness such an intractable problem? Experts will tell you it's because it encompasses so many other issues: mental health, family breakup, social security breakdown. No doubt any and all of these things are important. However, few would seriously argue that homelessness, that is, those without permanent accommodation and still less rough sleeping, is a positive life choice. So why is it, therefore, that in one of the world's wealthiest, most powerful cities, that rough sleeping is remorselessly rising, not falling? As we have seen, politicians are passing the parcel and, of course, the responsibility. However, no one can seriously claim that the level of priority accorded to this issue and that allocated to Brexit are in any sort of proportion. And therefore, those at the front line of initiatives to face down the crisis need help, encouragement and support. No one in the Brixton soup kitchen believes that their actions alone can tackle the issue. But equally, no one believes that their individual successes are anything other than important. And above all, every single one of the helpers believe that their ultimate task is to ensure that their own services are no longer required. Next week, we turn to some of the celebrity campaigners who are putting their shoulders to this important wheel. Do their efforts make a real difference? Join us next week to find out. But meanwhile, from Alex and I and all at the show, it's goodbye for now.